Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. In this video, we're going to show you how to change out the Whirlpool refrigerator broken tab ice store kit. It's going to be a very easy repair and should only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get the instructions, the ice door pin, the spring, the bracket, the dash pot, the bracket to replace the broken tabs, the ice door bracket, and the ice door itself. The broken tab ice door kit is located in the dispenser. The main reason to be changing it out is if you went to go change the ice door and you found out the mounting tabs were broken. In order to get to the part, we have to take apart the dispenser. First thing we're going to do is take off the frame. So we're going to use a putty knife with some tape on it and stick it underneath, and the tabs are right here on each side. So we're going to get underneath it with the putty knife and then press down right here to take some of the tension off. Then you can carefully twist the putty knife to break it free. Once you have this side done, you can do the other side. Once you have the frame released, we can lift up on it and pull it out so we can disconnect the wire harness. There's a wiring harness right behind the frame. We're going to reach in with a small flathead screwdriver and lift up the locking tab. Then we can disconnect it and set the frame aside. And then we can use our 1/4-inch nut driver to remove the 2 screws that holds the bracket to the dispenser. Once you have those 2 screws out of the way, we're going to grab a piece of tape that's not going to stick to the paint and pull it off the refrigerator, but we want to tape this whole assembly up and get this bracket out of the way. Once you have that up and out of the way, we can start taking the dispenser apart. All these models are put together a little bit differently depending upon where the water line is mounted and stuff like that. So we're going to show you how to do it on our model. In order to get these out, we're going to take the screw off the water line first. We're going to use our 1/4-inch nut driver to take it out. Once you have that out, then we're going to remove this center screw that holds both the water arm and the ice arm in. Make sure you don't lose the little spacers and stuff. To get the water arm out, we're going to lift the center section out and then kind of angle it out. And once you have it out of its little resting spot, you can slide it over to the left a little bit and then get the water line out of there so we can pull it out of the dispenser. Now we can take the dash pot off. It's located right here on this mounting tab. All we have to do is pull down to release it. Once you have it out, it's just going to come apart and fall into 2 pieces. Then we can take the other piece off of the ice door mounting bracket. All you have to do is kind of twist it like this and pull it up. Now we're going to take the ice arm out, same as the water arm. We're going to lift out the center section and then pull it to the right so the pin comes out of the left sidewall there. Once you have it free, we're going to reach in with a flathead screwdriver and we're going to flex the arm so this pin goes over the ice door bracket. Once you have the pin out, you can slide a little bit more to the right and pull the ice arm out of the dispenser. With the ice arm out of the way, we can start taking off the ice door. If you have one of the older ones that has this little ribbon cable that goes to the door, you have one of the really old ones that has a heater in it, we're not going to use that anymore. So we're going to pull this down and disconnect it from the wiring harness. All you have to do is pull it out. Like I said, the new door doesn't have this. So when we put it back together, we're just going to leave that empty harness up there and put the dispenser together. Now we can take off the ice door. We're going to take a flathead screwdriver and get on this end that has the Tinnerman on and pop it off the mounting pin. Make sure you don't lose it. Once you have it out, we can push the pin over to one side and use the flathead screwdriver to pull this assembly out, making sure you hold it up so you don't lose anything as the pieces come out. Once you have the pin out, you can pull the old ice door out. Here's the old ice door kit next to the new broken tab ice door kit. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can get it at appliancepartspros.com. In the kit, they've changed a few things. The ice door has been redesigned. It has a new type of foam, so you don't have that heater connection, so you don't have to worry about hooking that up. On the dash pot, they changed the way it mounts onto the bracket. It has a hole instead of a pin. And then the bracket itself has a pin on it instead of a hole. This bracket, it goes over by the water arm, and then the main bracket that everything mounts on has this grounding wire on it that, depending upon how old your model is, you may or may not use it. Our model is an older one, so we're going to take it off. If you have the newer one that has the CMBA assembly on it, it has a ground wire in there already, and you're just going to attach this ground point to the same thing. The only other thing that we have to take from the old kit is we have to reuse the Tinnerman on the new kit because they don't give you one in the new kit. Now that we have the dispenser out, you can see everything in here. You want to make sure you clean everything in here really good so that when you put that tape in here, it sticks and doesn't fall off and fail. You really want to pay attention to the upper area right here where the bracket's going to go, and clean this area up here so that the new door seals on there really good. Now that we have everything cleaned up, we want to go ahead and remove these tabs. All you have to do is grab them with pliers and kind of twist them back and forth to get them out of the way so we can put the new bracket in. Once you have the broken tabs removed, then we can start to put the new kit in. Since our model doesn't use the grounding wire, we're going to take it off the bracket. We're just going to take a small flathead screwdriver and pop it off and set it out of the way. The other thing we have to put together is the ice door and the bracket assembly. All you have to do is snap them together so we can put it into the dispenser. Now that we have the bracket ready, we can lift it up into position in the dispenser. You want to try it 3 or 4 times to make sure you know exactly where it's going to go before you peel off the tape and try to stick it. The bracket's going to mount right behind these tabs. And then if you'll notice on the other side where your old tabs used to be, it's usually going to line up pretty close, so these tabs are right on the outer edges of where the old tabs used to be. And we'll put the door in real quick to show you how that's going to look before you put it all together. To show you how this goes in real quick before we try to put the bracket in, we're going to put the door onto the bracket. So we're going to take our pin and put it all the way through. Once you have it in place, you can kind of hold it with your thumb. And it's pretty much how it's going to hinge on there. And then we'll lift it up and put it in place so you can see how the door is going to be lined up. So once you have it in position, you can hold it up there. You'll notice you can slide the bracket, back and forth a little bit, but not much. So you want to see where the brackets are going to line up, and your door is going to open and close smoothly. Once you're sure exactly where it needs to be, we can take the tape backing off and stick the bracket up to the top. Now we can peel the backing off the tape. In the instructions, they said that they don't want you to take the tape off the pieces that are on this bottom piece. So we cut this right here so we can take the tape off of this part and use that adhesive too. So we're just going to carefully peel the backing off so we can stick it to the dispenser. Once you have the tape backing peeled off, we can mount it in the dispenser. All right, now we're going to lift it up and mount it in the dispenser. However you made your marks to make sure you're in the right spot, whether you just line it up with the broken tabs or if you made any marks, you want to make sure everything's straight and aligned before you stick this because it's not going to move once you do. Now we can put the ice door and bracket assembly in. First we're going to put the spring in. You want to set it in there like this with the hump on the top, and you want to make sure that the part that makes the hump is up, not down like this. So make sure it's in there like this. And then we're going to put the pin through so it holds everything in. And then we're going to guide this end of the pin through the bracket and then hook this onto the other end. All right, so we're just going to lift it up into place and put it in. Once you have it in there, you can push all the way over to the left on the pin so we have more room to put the tin room in on this side. But once you have it in place, you should be able to test the door and it should open and close smoothly. The next thing you want to do is look at your tin room in. Sometimes when you reuse these and you took it off the old one, these little tabs are stretched out and they won't lock onto the pin again. So you want to press these tabs down to make sure that when you press it onto the pin that it's going to lock on like it's supposed to. To put the tin room on, it's kind of small, so I'm going to just carefully reach up here and push it onto the end of the shaft. While you're trying to push it on, you want to get on the other end with a screwdriver and press it against that bracket so it doesn't move while you're trying to lock it on. Once you have the tin room secure, we can put the water arm back in the dispenser. In order to put the water arm in, we're going to feed it over the water line and then hook the pin in the right side of the dispenser and then set the pin on the left into the little housing right there, which we'll put the screw in later to hold it in place. If you have the newer style of dispenser, you're not going to have this type of water line. Yours is going to be mounted up here with a different type of bracket. So we're still going to mount ours down here, but we're going to use an extra screw and use the bracket they supplied in the kit. It's going to go right here and then rest up on this tape. So we're going to use an extra screw. It doesn't have to be anything special, just a small 1/4 inch screw. And you want to make sure the tab is on the top, resting on the white tape up there. Once you have the bracket installed, if you have the type of water line we do, we're going to have to line it back up and use our 1/4 inch nut driver to put the screw in to hold it in place. Now we can put the ice arm back in. To put the ice arm in, we're going to do it the same way we took it off. We're going to feed it over this side first. So we're going to open the door a little bit and put the right side behind first. We're going to line it up behind where the dash pot is going to mount. Once you have that side on, then we can open the door again and drop the arm down a little bit so it goes behind this bracket. Once you have it in place, then we're going to run this pin up on the left side and push it into the wall in the dispenser and set the other side right next to the water arm. Once you have the ice arm in here and you're testing it, this is where you want to make sure it's not hitting. If you're opening and closing it and you can see that it's hitting right here, you have to take a razor blade and trim this off so it clears the ice door. Now we can put the spring mechanism for the arms back in. We're going to run the screw through it first here and then hold it together while we lift it up into place and put the screw in. Once you have the screw started so it's held in place, we're going to carefully put the spacer up in there. We're going to put one end up underneath the screw and the other end is going to go right on that little tab right here. Once you have it in place, you can hold it with your finger while we tighten down the screw. Once you have it in place, then we can put the dash pot in. To put the dash pot on, we're going to hook it onto the bracket. Once you have it in place, we can lift it up and hook on the other end, but you want to kind of hold it so it doesn't come in half. And you're going to lift up on the ice door to give yourself a little bit more slack. You can let go of the door and it should close nice and smooth. Then we can put the rest of the dispenser together. Now we can take the tape off the bracket. Once you have the tape off, we can rotate it down and make sure the tabs in here line up, and we can push it up into place, and then we can use our 1/4 inch nut driver to put the screws back in. Now we can put the front panel on. To put the front panel back on, all we have to do is reconnect the wiring harness. It can only go one way. Make sure you press it in all the way so you get a good connection. Once you have the wire harness clipped in, there's 3 tabs on the front panel that go into these openings. So you want to line them up and then pull down to lock them in place. To snap the bottom in, all you have to do is press in where you use the putty knife to release those tabs and snap them in. Once you have the front panel reinstalled, you can plug the refrigerator back in and take it for a spin. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.